All right, hey everyone. This is episode 3. We're going to be talking about forming, scoring, and baking. 3 things. They're all the things you do after your bread has risen overnight. And Cannon here is here to talk about this to you with me. So here's our bread. It was rising overnight. You can see it's like, this was a 400-gram loaf, and you can see it totally doubled. There's all these bubbles everywhere. That is a sign that we had some really awesome activity going on in there. And what I do is I get my hands wet, and I run them along the outside edge of the dough to pull it off and bring it together. So you can see it's all together and beautiful. Now, what I'm going to do is make 2 loaves with this because I've been enjoying the smaller loaves for giving away and sharing. So I'm going to pinch it off in the middle and form a loaf with this half. As you're forming, what you're looking for is surface tension. You'll know you had a good rise and you rose the right amount if as you form your dough, you're getting a nice smooth look on the surface. If it's breaking apart, that's a sign that it probably over rose. It'll still taste good. You're probably going to be okay in life, but it looks more beautiful when you get a good surface tension. So I'm forming a boule right now, B-O-U-L-E. That's a standard like circular round loaf. And I'm kind of like pulling it over and tucking it. And then what I have ended up with is this beautiful boule right here. If you want to make baguettes or other shapes, just Google how to form dough and you'll see all kinds of different shapes you can make of bread. This is my standard always one. What did you say?
Of our...
Oh yeah, we also have a thing to make baguettes. Cannon will show it to you. Once you start making bread, people get you all kinds of presents related to it, and then you have all these things. So there's my first boule. I put it on parchment paper, and then here's my second boule that I'm going to make. I'm going to put it on another piece of parchment paper. You can also spread cornmeal down on it if you don't have parchment paper, but something so that it doesn't stick. You'll see, I take the parchment and cut it into circles, and then place it on that. Once you have formed it, that should just take like a minute or so. You grab a towel. Cannon, can you grab a towel for us? And you place it over these to do their one final rise on the counter before you bake it. Now let's talk about baking for a quick minute. Also, sorry, I forgot about this. This is a basket that you can also do your final rise in. I think they're very commonly used in bakeries. I use mine periodically. I think they turn out beautiful. In fact, we have one of these in it today. They turn out really beautiful. I had one stick once and it gave like a sour taste in my mouth to that. So then I got kind of frustrated with using the basket. But I've been trying to find a new love for them because it makes me feel super legit and awesome when I do my final rise in one of these bread baskets. Here's our baker for baguettes. I don't think you need this. You can form it into a baguette and bake it regularly. But if you should happen to own one of these, you can bake your baguettes in here. Okay, in terms of baking, there's a lot of options. One, you just put it on a baking pan and toss it in the oven. You'll probably not get a very beautiful crust if you do that. In order to get a good crust, you need to maintain a more humid environment, and you can do that with any of these 3 items. This is called a cloche. My friend Julie Ruff gave it to me, and it is, it looks like this, and it bakes the bread inside of there. This is an example of one we baked in there. Thanks. Okay, that's lovely. Here's a ceramic,
crock pot.
Yeah, or a ceramic, yeah, Dutch oven. And it is also a great tool for baking bread and getting that environment. And then here's our cast iron Dutch oven that is sometimes for camping. I've baked bread while camping with this, with relative success. And that is a third tool you can use. Any of these is great. The main important thing that you do is preheat the oven and put these in while the oven's preheated, because then they get nice and hot. And then when you put the bread in, you close it and it's already got that nice hot environment in there. I'm gonna go preheat the oven right now and put 2 of these in there. And then go take a quick shower because the final rise should be about an hour on these. If you go less, that's fine. It'll just be a little more dense. But if you give it about an hour, you're gonna have a nice, like, fluffier loaf, a little bit airier on the inside. And so in about an hour, I'm gonna come back and score and toss these in the oven. Thanks. All right, so about 45 minutes ago, or an hour, we formed this dough. We got really nice surface tension, so we're excited, and we put it on our parchment paper. Now our last step before we toss it in the oven is to score it. And this is the fun part because you can design your own scoring method. We're gonna show you our 2 easy favorite ones, and then we're gonna toss them in the oven. The oven is preheated to 425. That's what we usually preheat it to. And remember, our cloche and our Dutch oven are in there preheating. So here's what you do to score it right before you put it in the oven. You take a serrated knife, hopefully a bread knife, but any serrated knife should work. And you're gonna lay it on the top and you're gonna put just a little bit of pressure so that you go into the bread about, I don't know, 1/4 inch, a little bit. That's gonna make it so some air can release during the baking process. If you don't do this, the air is gonna find a way to release anyway, and it's gonna like bust out of the side. This just makes it so it busts out in a really thoughtful, interesting way. And then you're going to, what did you say?
Do the cross.
Oh, so then I'm gonna score it this direction, and this is probably the easiest scoring pattern that you could do, a little X. Another scoring pattern that's kind of fun is the square. Poema's gonna give that one a go right here. Now, this loaf, remember I put it in the basket. I didn't flour it before, it might stick, and that would be okay, but oh look, it didn't. Phew. It's always a little nerve-wracking.
That's flat.
And Poema's gonna score this one with a square. So remember, just run it over. Very nice. You could even go a little deeper. And you don't want to squish it too much when you're doing it. You want to like rest it on top and then slide it along. Nice, nice.
Can we make a star on this one?
I think we can go a little bit deeper than this. But you have a perfect design. There you go. And that's your square scoring. That's your X scoring. You can have your own family signature one. Sometimes we do a S for strong family. It doesn't really matter. These ones are the easiest.
Can we do the star?
Now I'm gonna put it in my preheated oven in here. You wanna do a star on here?
Yeah.
We're gonna try a star for Cannon because Cannon has good ideas. Okay, let's see how this turns out. What do you think about that? Oh man, that's gonna be a fun one. Okay, so we're gonna put it in the oven right in here. They're preheated. Use something to keep your hands safe. I get little burns because I'm not careful enough. You should use an oven mitt or something. So remove the lid, set it there, toss it in, put the lid back on top, toss it in the other one. If you only have one, you can also put them side by side or just make one loaf, of course. Toss it in, put the lid back on, and then set a timer for 30 to 35 minutes with the 2 loaves. If you're just making one bigger loaf, it's probably gonna be about 45 minutes. We're gonna set the timer and take a pause on our video, then we'll come back when it's time to take them out. All right, it's been 35 minutes. And we're gonna get the things out of the oven. Keep this over here because we're gonna open the oven.
Okay.
So they're kind of heavy when you're cooking these. So what I usually do, I know, Cannon star. I wonder what it's gonna look like. I put the lid off to the side, and then we'll bring the base over here. There's that one.
That's where the star. Yeah. That's a square.
That was a star.
Yeah.
And then, same here. We take our lid off and bring this over here. Be careful, it's very hot, Summer. All right. And there's a couple ways to check if your loaf is done. If it has this deep toasty look, it's probably done. However, there's a few things that I've read about that you can do. One is check the internal temperature, and it should be above 185. So if you have a meat thermometer, yeah, plunk it in. Can you do this for us?
Yeah.
Ready?
2.
Is it greater than 185?
205.
Yeah, so that one's like for sure done. We probably could have taken it out like 8 minutes ago or something. This one, Poema.
200. It's still kind of 208.
Holy smokes. Okay, so those are both like super ready. In fact, we might have baked them a little extra.
But they're still done.
They're definitely done. Another test I've heard about is tapping the bottom. It should sound hollow. Hear that? It sounds hollow. That's another sign that they are done. But you can see that our scoring turned out pretty beautiful. This star was a pretty cool idea by Canon.
You can still
it has
see
the nice little bulbous pieces on the side. And what this is called is an ear, when you get a part that kind of bakes over and is sticking out off the side. And I believe in the baking community, it's great to have a cool ear on your loaf. So here's our 2 final loaves after all of this work. And you're gonna wanna let them sit on your counter for 20, 30 minutes before you cut into them because you wanna eat them right now?
No,
well, if you try to cut them when they're this hot, it usually smashes them. It's very sad. So wait 30 minutes, slice into them, get some butter, get some honey, and enjoy. Thanks for watching.